to a brand new episode of Johnson's Court. Today I'm super excited to be with you because it is week 2 of the NFL. We are back, ready to go, and football will be on its way in under 24 hours. So that is super exciting, ladies and gentlemen. But, tell me how your week went. Did you get all 16 games right? Were you close? I will definitely tell you what our records were and how we started off week 1. But, what was the biggest surprise from week 1? For me personally, I thought it was Sunday night, where the Ravens were up big. And I thought the Ravens were going to win the game. But here comes the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen coming back and completing a comeback like they know how to do more than twice they've done. Insane. I think the Ravens are one of the biggest choking teams in the NFL. And honestly, it's not even close. But my second thing I took away from week 1 was the Indianapolis Colts, and the Cincinnati Bengals got a win for their opener for the first time in, I want to say for the Colts, it was like 2013 or 2015, and then the Bengals haven't done it in the past 3 or 4 years. So congrats to those two teams right there for being able to make it out and start the season 1-0 instead of 0-1, because sometimes, starting off on the right foot definitely does help. Now, it is not necessarily how you start the season, but how you finish the season. But, for some teams, it is how you start and finish. So there's that. But we head into week 2 with, not necessarily a lot of questions, but with what's going to happen in week 2. Is it going to be better for some players who had a horrible first week? Do they continue to play great after the first week? Do they, take a dive down the stairs where they don't do so well? I don't know. We'll find out. And that's what is so much fun about sports. You have no idea what's going to happen. It's unpredictable. But last week, as you guys know, Nick and I both had similar teams that we picked. There were one game that was different that we picked, and he ended up winning that one, and I ended up losing that one. So Nick walks away with the better record, and to start the season at 13-3. I come in going 12-4, so right behind him. But then Beagle texted me and was like, hey, if you're doing it again, if you're going to do your picks like you've done every single year, I would love to still be part of it. So I said, hey, man, come on. Why not? Because he's been in it with me since the beginning, and so it's still cool to be able to do 3 people again, where it's going to be 1, 2, and 3. So who is going to come out on top? But he comes in at 9-7. So comes in 3rd place right now, not starting off as the best. But like I said, it's not necessarily how you start, but how you finish. But I'm excited to see, because I'm going to go halfway through the season and then add up what our records are, and then do it again for the second half and see, who had a better first half, second half, and then add them all up at the end like I have normally done. So I've got it all written down here, and so it's going to be super fun, guys. But going into week 2, this is going to be lots of fun. And we'll get started for Thursday night, which is tomorrow, and the first teams to be able to either go 2-0, 1-1, or maybe 0-2 is the Green Bay Packers playing the Washington Commanders. Now, both of these teams are 1-0. So who's going to become 2-0 first? Will it be the Green Bay Packers, who are playing at home under Jordan Love, or will it be the Commanders, Jaden Daniels, who is a phenomenal quarterback? This is a great matchup, and I'm excited to see it, for it being the Thursday night matchup. I think they definitely picked a good one here. Me personally, I'm going with the Green Bay Packers. I'm giving them the home field advantage. And I think that they will be able to pull off the win starting for week 2. I think they'll be the first team to be 2-0. Nick also agrees. He thinks the Packers are going to win, and so does Beagle. So we all are either going to start off on the right foot or the wrong foot. But then Sunday comes along, which is every Sunday we have football, which is amazing until into the second week of February. Man, that just gets my juices flowing, ladies and gentlemen. But you got the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. Now, this game, a lot of questions for both of these teams. I believe they are both 0-1. Let me check. They are both 0-1. So who's going to go 0-2? Who is going to go 1-1? I don't know. It is a home game for the Dallas Cowboys. They didn't get started off on the correct foot, but they did play the Philadelphia Eagles for week 1. But they've got a better chance going into week 2. Now, personally, Nick has the Cowboys win it, and so does Beagle. But I think the Giants are going to get this win. I think the Giants can get this win. I like what they're cooking over there, and I think they're going to win more games than people think. But that is going to be the first disagreement between everybody, is the second pick of the week. Then you've got the Seahawks and Steelers. Now, the Steelers are 1-0 and the Seahawks are 0-1. It is a home game for the Steelers. A-Rod played pretty good last week, despite having, still looking a little rusty. Everybody kind of looks a little rusty. There's some people who look a little bit better than others, but they're all still a little rusty just because it's week one, trying to get familiar with everything, new systems, all those kinds of things. Me personally, I do think the Steelers win week 2, and I think they will be one of the teams in the 2-0 era. Sorry, Seahawks. I still think you'll have a great season, but I don't think you're going to win this game. Then you've got the Rams and Titans. Now, it is a home game for the Titans. It is Cam Ward playing, a great rookie quarterback coming from the University of Miami. But Matthew Stafford and the Rams being that better team, are they 1-0? They are 1-0. I think they will also be part of the 2-0 gang, as I guess I'll be saying this week. They will be 2-0, so I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams. Let me see here. Oh, Nick went to Steelers, and so did Beagle. And then I went to Rams, Nick, and Beagle. So we are across the board there, same. Then you've got the Bills and the goddamn Jets. Now, you want the Jets to win. Everybody wants the Jets to win, just because they've sucked for so long. But it's the Buffalo Bills who have miracles. Maybe it's this year. Give me the Bills going probably 15-1, guys. I'm taking the Bills probably every single game. Nick has the Bills here, but Beagle's going to Jets with his old QB, Justin Fields, going to the Jets, who had a pretty great performance against the Steelers last week, but still ended up losing. He's got the Jets winning this game. So that is his first disagreement where he's different than Nick and I, which is awesome. I love that. Then you've got the Patriots playing the Dolphins, an AFC East showdown. Me personally here, I don't think the Dolphins get it done. They did lose pretty badly to the Colts. I think they go 0-2, and I think that the Patriots will get this win. Well, let's see here. Nick thinks the Dolphins turn around, and so does Beagle. So now I disagree here. Next, we've got the Jaguars playing the Bengals. I low-key wanted to go to this game. I thought about going to this game, but I was like, I'll go to a better game maybe later this year. We'll see what happens. But it is at home for the Bengals. They start off season 1-0. I think they continue that. I think that they will continue to have an upward most success this season. So I'm going with the Bengals at home. Over the Jaguars, Nick goes to Bengals, and so does Beagle. So we agree there. Then at 1 o'clock, you've got the 49ers and the Saints. Now, it is supposedly heard that with the 49ers, that Brock Purdy is not going to play. In his place will be Mac Jones. The 49ers are 1-0, so if they lose this game, you're 1-1. But I don't know how long Brock Purdy is going to be out. So that is definitely something to keep an eye on in the developing, rest of this week and weeks to see what happens there. But me personally, I'm going to go to 49ers because the Saints suck this year. Nick goes to 49ers, and so does Beagle. Then at 1 o'clock, you've got the Browns and the Ravens. Even though the Ravens put up a poop shoot last week and, lost the lead that they had for the majority of the game, I'm still going to go the Ravens, and I think that they bounce back. So pretty easy pick there. So does Nick, and so does Beagle. Then you got the Bears and Lions. The Lions are at home. They didn't start off on the right foot. They are 0-1. The Bears are 0-1, who also pooped to bed against the Minnesota Vikings, who had a lead, and then just they pulled what Bears do every single year. Beagle will know this especially, but no surprise here. Beagle does have the Bears winning. If I had to, if I had put $1 million, and I mean $1 million on this bet, I would 100% get the return. I think Beagle would pick the Bears every single time to win. I think he probably thinks they're going to go 6-0. But, it's just something that I know Beagle loves the Bears, and, he's always rooting for them to win, which is a good thing because when you're a diehard fan, that's what you do. But he's going Bears here. Nick is going to Lions, and so am I. So you are the lone bear here, Beagle, on this pick. So that's your last 1 o'clock game. I think your 1 o'clock game that is going to be the best is probably going to be the Bills-Jets. As much as the Bills are good, the Jets did pretty well versus Steelers, so have a great defense. So I think that will be your best game of the 1 o'clock games. Then you move on to 4:05. You got the Denver Broncos coming in and playing the Indianapolis Colts. Danny Dimes, you know, he's here to stay. He's here to be the Indianapolis Colts QB, baby. And I think that the Colts will win this one. They are at home, so continue them off on the right path. They go 2-0. Nick thinks that as well, but Beagle thinks the Broncos here. So, man, Beagle could be, you know, right here, Bears-Broncos, or he could be wrong. We'll see what happens. Then you got the Panthers and the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals win this one. I think it's a pretty easy matchup for the Cardinals, but we'll just see what the Panthers have in store this season. Nick is going the Cardinals, and so is Beagle. Then, now this is the 4 o'clock game of the week. You got the Eagles and the Chiefs. As much as I think this is a great matchup, and this could have been a Sunday or Monday night matchup, I think personally that the Eagles will win this, continue off on the right foot. I just don't think that the Chiefs have that dog in them this early in the season. I think they'll still be okay. They'll make the playoffs, but as of right now, I just don't think that they are going to. They just don't have that fire. But like I said, it's not always how you start; it's how you finish. But they're just not going to start off on the best foot. Nick is going to Eagles, and so is Beagle. So, let me move on to your Sunday night game at 8:20. It's the Atlanta Falcons versus the Minnesota Vikings. So, the Vikings have 2 night games right out of the gate, so good for them. The Falcons are young and coming with Michael Penix Jr. and the stars that they have around them. But I do think that the Vikings will get this done. I mean, they were down by a lot by the Bears, but were able to come back. And I do think that the Vikings can, like I said, shake those jitters and continue to carry that win momentum forward. Nick thinks the Vikings will win, but Beagle thinks the Falcons will win. So I love these disagreements. I love us not picking all the same picks, and I think that's going to be fun. Then on Monday night, it is the first week. So it's already week 2, but it's the first week that we have 2 games on Monday night, which is a lot of fun. You've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Texans playing at 7, and then the Chargers and Raiders playing at 10. So the Buccaneers and Texans at 7. We'll start with that one first. The Texans aren't off to the greatest start. I think they'll get better. But with the way the Buccaneers came out firing last week, I think they continue to roll. There are some pirates out here. You know, they're just chasing that booty and they're chasing the treasure. And I think they're going to get it. So give them to 2-0. Give me the Bucs. Nick is going the Bucs as well, and then so is Beagle. So we are all thinking the same thing. Out on the sea. Then at 10 o'clock, you have the Chargers and Raiders, like I said. It is a home game for the Raiders, but the Chargers got that dog in them. They got that lightning, is what they got. And so I do think that the Chargers, even though it's a road game for them, they're not traveling too far. But I think that the Chargers will get this done. And Justin Herbert, it is maybe his season to win the AFC West. Nick is also going to the Chargers, and so is Beagle. So there are a few differences in here, which I love. So these records could be good for some people, but not others. But we'll see how it shakes out. Maybe we go 0-16. Realistically, it's not going to happen. But it's going to be fun. I'm excited for week 2 and to see what week 2 brings. And it all starts tomorrow at 8:20. So we'll see you next week. For week 3, enjoy your week 2. Have fun. And until then.